Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and welcome to episode 65 of the Layton Fitness podcast. Now in today's episode we're going to be discussing supplementation, some of the supplements I recommend you take. Now you're probably wondering, this is going to be an absolutely massive list because you've probably seen lots of marketing online which are trying to persuade you to take every supplement under the sun, but the reality is there's just really a handful of supplements with sufficient scientific evidence to support its usage, and I'm going to go through those very few supplements below. And hopefully this is going to be useful in the sense of seeing what supplements you should and shouldn't be taking. More importantly, this should hopefully help you save a lot of money and not spend any money on supplements that are just simply not worth your time, effort, money, etc. So without further ado, let's head straight into the list. Now the first one I've written down is whey protein. Now the reason why I see this as a supplement is because it's very difficult to meet your daily protein target from whole food alone. Therefore, a good quality whey protein supplement will help to fill in the gaps, i.e. any point of the day you're short of protein, you can easily have this. It's a very cost-effective, convenient way to help to meet your protein target. Now with that being said, I'm not recommending you have this with every single meal. I would focus on having a variety of protein sources, but don't be afraid to use this throughout the day. Don't be afraid to use it more than once throughout the day because it's very convenient to have. It's very convenient. Like I said, I've yet to have a client that can just meet their protein target from whole food sources alone. So use this to help fill in the gaps to meet your protein target. The next supplement is a fish oil supplement. This isn't necessarily for everyone. If you eat a lot of fatty fish, so for example, if you have fatty fish 3 to 4 times per week, you probably do not need a fish oil supplement. However, for everyone else, it can be a great tool to increase omega-3 within the diet. And I'd suggest consuming 2 grams of EPA to DHA per day. Now the reason why fish oil can be very useful is it has a number of health benefits. For example, it can improve cholesterol levels, can help to lower blood pressure, can help to reduce the risk of heart disease, and a whole host of numerous other benefits. Now it's important to note that there's some literature that suggests that fish oil doesn't have any benefit whatsoever. However, because it's so cheap and the evidence is split between it being beneficial or neutral, it's not going to be harmful to you. In my opinion, it's worthwhile consuming 2 grams of EPA to DHA per day. The next supplement I've got written down is a multivitamin supplement. The way I see a multivitamin is a insurance policy. It's a way to guarantee you're meeting all your micronutrients within the diet. Now you should still meet the majority of your micronutrient targets just from having a well-rounded diet, i.e. consuming lots of fibrous vegetables, lots of fruits, etc., lots of variety from meat and carbohydrate and fat sources. Yet having a multivitamin just help to guarantee that you're meeting all these micronutrients. So therefore I suggest consuming that daily. The next supplement I've got is creatine monohydrate. Now creatine monohydrate is one of the most researched supplements for improving sporting performance. There's a lot of evidence showing improvements in strength and power. Therefore I do recommend this to most individuals. All you need to do is just take 5 grams daily. You can load this. Some people like to load it, i.e. take 5 grams where you're having say 20 grams per day and then you just have a maintenance dose of 5 grams. The reality is your muscles will be saturated with creatine at some point. It really doesn't matter. I personally suggest just having 5 grams daily. It doesn't really matter when you take it, before or after training or any other time of the day. Just take 5 grams daily. I usually have it first thing in the morning with my protein powder just so I don't forget to take it later in the day. Now, as of yet, there's no evidence to my knowledge to suggest that you need to cycle this, i.e. take this for a period of time and then stop taking it and then return back to it. So at the moment there's no evidence to my knowledge, and again this has got over decades worth of research looking into creatine monohydrate. So therefore just take 5 grams every single day, training day or non-training day, really doesn't matter. And also, just get creatine monohydrate. You don't need to get any of the other fancier names that are literally 3 or 4 times the price. All of the research has been done on creatine monohydrate, therefore get creatine monohydrate. It's super cheap. The next supplement you can take is caffeine. I would suggest consuming this pre-workout, anywhere between 3 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight, and I would suggest consuming this 15 minutes to 60 minutes prior to training. This can be in a capsule or a tablet or just from coffee. Now realise I don't recommend any pre-workout supplements just because they're overly hyped, overly priced, and the only active ingredient that can improve performance acutely is caffeine. Therefore, just take caffeine, you don't need all the other stuff. With that being said, some of the other ingredients I'll be listing within this particular podcast, but it's more beneficial to take these separately. However, caffeine is the only supplement to improve performance acutely, i.e. the session itself. Creatine monohydrate will work because of consuming this over a chronic period of time. So keep that in mind when you're considering a lot of these overly priced pre-workout supplements. You don't need them, and it's much more cost effective to buy the ingredients individually, i.e. caffeine, creatine monohydrate. The next supplement you can take is vitamin D, because especially here in the UK, as you all know, the weather can be a little bit inconsistent to say the least, and as such we don't have a huge amount of sunlight, especially certain times of the year. So consuming 2,000 to 4,000 IUs of vitamin D per day can be very beneficial. So I would suggest, especially within the winter months, consuming this. Now you may be wondering why I don't recommend fat burners or natural testosterone boosters. Now with regards to fat burners, they just simply are not worth the time or money. Here's just one key takeaway: a fat burner cannot create an energy deficit. So if there's not an energy deficit, you're not going to lose body fat. An example would be if you were to consume 10,000 calories and consume a fat burner, do you really think you're going to make progress? You're not. So the key takeaway is the energy deficit, not some magic fat burner. It just does not exist. Again, they're very expensive. Don't bother wasting your money. Natural testosterone boosters, again, do not waste your money. Increasing testosterone within the natural physiological ranges is not going to have a significant impact on muscle gains or performance or anything like that. Only super physiological dosage, i.e. anabolic steroids, will actually improve performance, improve muscle mass, and I wouldn't suggest doing that either. Hopefully this podcast will save you a lot of money, because I wish I had this information when I first started training, because I've wasted a lot of money over the years with some of these useless supplements. So look into those. Again, keep in mind the goal of these supplements is to supplement the diet. They're not to replace the nutrition fundamentals I've been teaching within my podcast videos and content, etc. So keep that in mind. If you've still yet to download my free ebook, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, you go to James Layton, Layton Fitness.co.uk, and download that immediately. I suggest also listening to my other podcasts, watching some of my YouTube videos, and some of the other content I have on my website as well. Thank you very much. I look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care.